Hello and welcome. How are you? Hi, Rose.
Hey, how you going?
I'm going amazing. We were both discussing before the show how chilly it is. It seems like it's dropped like 10 degrees, and that's okay because winter had to come eventually, and that's all right. It's another excuse to wear our Ugg boots to work. We love it. Welcome to the Healing Through Love show. We're here to increase awareness within the community about providing family and domestic violence survivors with a soft place to land, and to also help those and their families as well.
And as well as the Healing Through Love show, we hold annual Pamper Days for survivors in South Australia and Tasmania, where local businesses pay it forward to give our survivors a much-deserved day of joy. And each week on this show, we interview experts and survivors who share their personal stories and advice to those who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey.
I love it. Now, Rose is going to jump off and help us with the back end of the program, but she's not going far because she'll be joining us towards the end. And I'd like to introduce to you today our very special guest. I'd like to introduce Sue Callahan. She's a thought leader and master influencer on trauma recovery. And for us who are survivors, we are well aware that this trauma continues, and we are looking forward to having a chat with her today on how we can work through processes to help us recover. A powerful motivational speaker, she is a firm believer that tragedy and adversity are the foundation for thriving in life. If an individual confronts their healing through journey head on, and she's going to share those healing techniques with us today by sharing her 4-step process. I'm very excited about that. She's published her personal story, Taken, which narrates the tale of her 3 children. Now, I'd love to ask you more about that. Could you tell us, start today's conversation and tell us a little bit more about the story of Taken?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on board. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I know that I'm in front of abuse survivors as well. So I just honour you as you're listening and the journey that you've been through. So my story, Taken, happened in 2003. So it's 17 years ago. I was pregnant with my 4th child, and my 1, 3 and 5-year-old were abducted from me and taken. And I didn't know if they were dead or alive for 3 months. So the story unravelled that my mother-in-law was a social worker, and she worked in private practice with a psychiatrist who had me diagnosed as being mentally ill and abusing my children. The psychiatrist had never met me, but he was paid the equivalent of $12,000 to write the report, and the report went to the court. So suddenly, overnight, I found myself in court listening to a judge saying that he would permanently remove the children from my care. I fought for the children's return, and they were returned after 4 months. And they were in the most horrific trauma I could ever imagine. And so was I, because I was in that stage heavily pregnant. 6 months later, on my due date with my 4th child, there was a knock on the door, and police officers rushed through my house. They grabbed the children out of the bath. They told me to pack their bags, and they drove them away in a police car with blue flashing lights. Social workers then came and knocked on my door, and I thought they were coming to explain what had happened, but instead they actually pointed at my bum, and they said, the minute you give birth to your baby, we'll take it and put it into care. So the next day I went into labour, and I delivered my baby under lock and key, under the watchful eye of the social workers who had the car seat ready to take my baby off me at birth. Long story short, it unravelled that the same report from the same psychiatrist had gone to a different judge in the High Court. The judge wasn't presented with a court bundle. She knew nothing of the previous history. And she said later, if she'd have known there was a court history, she would never have removed the children from me. So the children were returned to my care after 1 year. And the trauma they went through and I went through was unimaginable. I mean, my worst ever fear is to have my children taken away from me. So it was published in my first book called Taken, and I took the psychiatrist to the General Medical Council. I took the social workers to the highest level of complaints, and the story was written up in the Law Society Journal 2003 in the UK as the case that badly failed a family. But what comes out of it? You know, we have to start our healing journey. And I always say that trauma is trauma. My story is different to many other people's story, but the messages that come out of it are the same. How do we move on? How do we heal in it? And although suffering can take many different forms, I would say black is black, dark is dark, and bleak is bleak.
And the children, how are your 4 beautiful children now?
They are incredible. So the story is 17 years ago, and having fought for their return, I then moved across the world to live in New Zealand. And I came here predominantly because my sister was here and I had to support. My mother and father passed away. And so we've had an incredible life. They're now aged 17, 19, 21 and 23. And they are the greatest blessing, and I think walking examples that if you can overcome your trauma and use it to good, and you walk your walk and you stay in truth and integrity, then great blessings do actually come your way. So I look at them every day and I'm so grateful to them, and they are my greatest ever teachers as well.
And what through all this story, where was the father in all of the story?
Well, my marriage was on the rocks, and my mother-in-law, I think, understood how to get the children from me so that he didn't lose the children. He was working overseas a lot, but he was partnering with a case as well. And although the story isn't about him, you know, we all make mistakes, we all go on our journey. And I acknowledge that when a marriage breaks down, it's 2 people. So I had my role to play in that as well. So there's no blame in the situation. So as I move forward in forgiveness and gratitude, I look to where I am at and the work that I need to do to empower myself rather than look to blame. And he's the father of my children. And from that position, I acknowledge him, and he's always had a really important part to play in their life as well.
Wow, it's like a movie.
Well, it does say on the back of the book that it reads like a thriller and feels like a movie. And Ian Wishart, a New Zealand publisher, wrote that on the book, and it has sold as an international bestseller. And I think really because it strikes a chord with so many people. How would it feel to lose your children overnight, not know if they're dead or alive? And also, you know, my 1-year-old was a breastfeeding baby who was sitting on my hip day in, day out. We used to walk to the park every day and have adventures when we took my little 3-year-old to nursery. My 5-year-old was at school. So that was my greatest ever fear. But everybody's story is different. That's my own personal story of tragedy. How we overcome it was and is a lifelong journey of actually walking forward when we feel betrayed. My story is one of persecution, false accusations, betrayal, loss, hopelessness, shame, worthlessness, and really losing hope. What happens when you lose hope? There's no light. You know, when you're told that you're never going to see your children ever again, you've lost them for good, and you're pregnant, and you know you'll never hold your baby at birth, you step into hopelessness. And I 3 times tried to take my life, but luckily didn't. And there's such strong messages in there as well. What do you need when life is hopeless and you cannot see that light? Very strong messages. And that's my work now with my clients. I work as a coach and a strategist, finding solutions and actually empowering change through trauma. And the message is really that circumstances and adversity will always come our way. Adversity never discriminates, and we have to deal with suffering and pain in life to different levels and different degrees. But how do we walk the path through life, travel our journey, but also find joy and peace and beauty in the midst of the struggle, so that we're not constantly looking for perfect lives or looking for happiness, but wherever we're treading in life, the highs and the lows, the mountaintops and the valleys, how can we embrace each day and be the best version of me so that I can actually thrive and be a gift to other people around me as well?
I love it. And now you've got a 4-step process to help the girls and the guys walk through the process of this healing. Can you share that with us today?
I'd love to. So I use the word heal, and heal stands for, the first one is help, get help. The second one is exchange the trauma for the healing. The third one is accept the change and the growth journey we're going to go on. And the fourth one, L, is for learn. So learn from giving, from gratitude, from connections, and so on. So I'll just walk through them slowly because they so empowered me on my journey. And there was a sense of awareness for me. I'd trained in education, I'd studied psychology, And I knew all the theories of childhood development according to Piaget. I could quote how to make a dog salivate by ringing a bell. But when it came to my own situation, I found that the theories and principles of psychology I couldn't suddenly apply to my life. I needed practical strategies. What do I do? I'm in trauma, or even 17 years later, I can go into PTSD. What helps? So the first one is actually ask for help. Make yourself vulnerable. To be able to do so takes courage, because you need to be safe. So either ask yourself for help, put yourself on timeout, take time off work, be in the quiet place, do relaxation, breathing exercises. But also beyond that, to make yourself vulnerable, and with your closest friends, say, I'm really struggling and I need help. And it takes courage, such courage, to ask for that help, as we all know. The universe has got so much to give us, and we try, and I'm guilty of this myself, we try and cope. I can do it myself, I can be strong, I can get through it, I've got through it before. But the minute we open the door and ask for help, it's incredible what comes our way, in the sense of connection, compassion. It might be an email, it might be a gift of some food that day. I mean, in New Zealand, I've been offered people's holiday homes just to take time out in. But it takes me to ask for help, it takes me to be vulnerable. But also the acknowledgement that sometimes we can help ourselves. I always say that trauma is like being hit by a 10-ton truck. And we were talking slightly earlier, Charlene, and just saying that if it's multiple traumas, and mine was because it happened over a long period of time and many different events in those traumas, it's like being hit by a 10-ton train, but one carriage and then another carriage and another. So how do we recover from that PTSD? How do we take time out? And I say, in the same way, if you actually had a car accident on the road, then you would be in hospital. You would be looked after. And some people are in hospital for 6 months to a year. So for major trauma, have you taken time out? Have you actually helped yourself by seeking therapists, seeking time, seeking peace? Because if you keep going to work and you keep rushing around, and we're looking after our families, we've got busy lives and social lives, and we're mothers or whatever we're doing, we cannot heal. And all we do is take the broken parts of us into the future. So ask yourself for help and ask others for help is the first one. The second one is exchange. Exchange the trauma for healing. What does that look like? I say that our natural body mechanisms to heal are our 5 senses, and they're so powerful. I use this a lot, and sometimes when I'm stuck at work or busy, I think, so go back to your healing senses. So for example, touch. Go bare feet, walk on bare wooden floors, walk on the grass, walk on stones, on pebbles, walk on a beach. Relax in a bath with candles and just feel the water, the sensation of the water on your skin, and just relax and just listen to the sounds. Holding things in your hands are really important as well. Holding pebbles and stones, holding things that are smooth, things that are rough, feeling tree bark, holding leaves and flowers. And also the one that I absolutely love is hugs. The instant you hug somebody, not only do you feel good, but there's an immediate chemical release of oxytocin, which is a happy hormone. So when you're in fight or flight response and you're in fear and you're in those negative adrenaline chemicals, you can exchange it for oxytocin. So we all love a hug. If there's not a person around, then if it's a pet, if it's a cat, if it's a dog, just sit and just cuddle up. Sometimes when there's no one, I even hug a cushion or a beautiful dressing gown or a blanket and just sit there and just cuddle myself with that. So hugs, touch, really important. Sight, nature. Go into nature. Mountains, rivers, streams, fields, whatever it is, whatever it's near you, get into nature. Breathe it in and just sense it. Just take time to appreciate the mountains, whatever it is, the sunshine, the rain, the storms. Go out and just be bare feet and naked in the rain and actually just feel it falling on your skin. What does it look like? The sunshine is so bright, the rain when it gets dark, and the clouds, what does it look like? Breathe it in through your eyes and sense it. Sound, the rain. I love the rain. I love water. We're near a beach here. We're lucky in the UK. I was near rivers and waterfalls. So the sounds again. Music, so important for healing. So find some gentle music. It's well known and scientifically proven that the 7 sounds in music that are the healing sounds, they are called the 7 solfeggios. So you can research those online, but they are basically the do, re, mi, sol, la, ti, do sounds and the sound of music. And the Gregorian chants were based on the healing sounds. There's a lot of beautiful sounds you can download online and just have it on in the background while you're cooking dinner, when you're going to bed, so you can actually relax in terms of that beautiful music and sound. Listen to the birds in the morning, listen to the birds in the evening. Taste is a really important one. Often when we're stressed, we go to the fridge and we open it and we eat chocolate or whatever's there. Think about fresh garden fruits from the universe, nuts and seeds and vegetables, nice vegetable juices, and think about things like pomegranates where you can open it and there's just a wonder of abundance inside. So not only can you taste it, pomegranates I just love. There's so many fruits, whichever country you're in, that we can just open and actually just relish in, just be in the moment, have a look at it, feel it and taste it, see what it's like. And then the last one, obviously, is smell. Smell's so important. If you've got flowers, smell the flowers. If not, oils and essences are so powerful in terms of empowering us and healing through the frequency they release into our body. So whether it's dropping a few little essence drops into a bath or the shower, or actually if you've got a diffuser, have it in the background so you can just smell. And without being aware of it, our body's naturally healing ourselves, as it does when we go into REM sleep at night. Often when we're stressed and in trauma, we don't get enough of the REM sleep. So these are little things that we can do to heal our body. So that is exchange. The A is for accept, which is accept the change that is going to take place in your life and the growth. So life has moved on. There's been a major incident of trauma, or a series of traumas. And I say that we can't go back, we can't change the past, we can control today and the future. So how we look at the future is really important. We can exchange the thoughts in our head, and we can accept positivity instead of negativity. We can accept actually making positive affirmations over our life, making statements like, I can actually get through the day, instead of, I don't want to get out of bed. Little statements we say can really change where we're at. Sometimes stick them on the fridge, write a few down, stick them on the fridge, stick them on the mirror in the morning. You might feel ugly, but you are so beautiful. Look at yourself in the mirror and write those statements. I love myself today. I love who I am, regardless of what other people think about me. I'm a queen. I'm going to put a crown on my head. I'm going to wear my robes. I'm going to put my lippy on, and I'm going to dance around the house. No matter what's going on, I'm going to take authority over being me and accept me for who I am. And then the last one is learn. How do we learn? We learn by connecting with different people. We learn from compassion. We learn from gratitude. We learn from being giving as well. Volunteer work is really important. Who can you find that is also struggling, and who can you empower? There's a little old man at the end of my road. He's about 92 years old, and he shops every day, and he has to walk down a steep hill and back up again. And it's just so lovely to go up to him and say, what can I do for you today? And invariably I can do everything myself. I'm going to keep going. So I think that's great. I love it. And good for you. So you can. But I'm actually going to take part of the journey with you. I'm going to walk with you up the hill. Do you mind if I stay with you? And we connect and we spend time. And that is so empowering in itself. It gets me out of me, myself, and I. My ego worries me. I'm having a hard day. And actually realizing that there's other people in life that are lonely and that are struggling as well. So how can we give to other people? How can we connect? Can we do some voluntary work? And also I say compassion is born in our tough times. Compassion is birthed through suffering and pain. So we find a level of compassion within ourselves for others, connect into it. So that's my 4 strategies which bring the word together as heal. And it's so important we take time to heal ourselves. As I say, if we don't, then we carry all that trauma and pain inside. And as I said earlier, sometimes we when we're in trauma, we never actually heal, but we can grow around it. And I always think that, we have a little trauma inside us. Sometimes it looks like this for me. It sort of bobs up and down from time to time. And actually, as I grow, it actually becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, but it's always there. And I need to nurture it. I need to be kind to it. And I need to love me to be able to go on that journey and do it.
That is so beautiful. I love it all. And it's great that you've narrowed that down to an acronym that's so much easier for us to remember. Now, I understand you've also written a second book. Could you maybe talk to us a little bit about the 2 books?
So Hate Myself, Hate My Life is written as a teenage guide to finding self-confidence and inner love. And that's just working through healthy boundaries, healthy relationships, communication, finding self-love, and so on. And it was written for teenagers, but it sold so popular, in such a popular way, that actually adults are saying, you know, I bought it for my teenager, but I read it first, and the strategies in it have helped me so much in understanding how I can be safe in life and how I can actually find a position and a place where I love myself. The title is quite hard-hitting, Hate Myself, Hate My Life, but working with clients for many years, teaching in prisons with offenders, and working in boarding schools, raising teenagers for over 20 years, most of the phrases I hear are, I hate myself, I hate my life. And I was in that place once as well. So it's hard hitting, but it's the truth of what we hear. And what Joe and I want to do in Impact Mental Health, our company that we work together in changing lives, is we want people to come to a position of actually loving themselves and loving their lives. So how do we do that? The tools and strategies are in the book. My first book, Taken, actually just tells the story of what it's called the inspirational true story of one mother's epic win against social services. It's how did I get through? It's the story that unraveled. It's a compassionate and loving read. The feedback is that it was very moving. It sounds, again, quite hard-hitting, but it just unravels the story of how I got through it and what life looked like for me 17 years ago. I always say that I would never want to go back there ever again in a million years. But 17 years later, it's been worth every single step of the journey to find a place of inner peace, inner love, inner joy, compassion for others, and living in what I sense is an abundance of the universe that can come our way if we just give in and just let go to the universe and say, there's a bigger picture for my life than the one I know. Something else is going on. Something else is in control. I can get through it. And all I need to do today is be obedient with the moment. Actually just do today. Not be in fear of the future. Not look back to the past. Not relive those memories in our head, which is so easy to do. Once we open that door to the memories, bang, we're a goner again. But if we actually live in the hope and the presence of the moment, we find such beauty that it's overwhelming sometimes to be in it.
Excellent. Now, so how do our listeners get hold of either both of your books or one or the other? How do they get hold of those?
So both books are on Amazon. So if you're not in New Zealand, you can buy them on Amazon, or you can buy them on our website, which is impact-mentalhealth.com. And Taken is on my own website, which is taken2003uk.com. So you can get the books there.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your valuable insights on how people can move forward with using the HEAL technique, and your beautiful story about how you survived and thrived through the worst possible situation of losing your beautiful children, and not just once but twice. In fact,
I can't say, Charlene, I thrived when I was in it. I can't say that, but I can say that I'm thriving now many years later. But it's just, how did I find the tools and strategies when in it? And there's a lovely quote I'd like to leave listeners with, which is by a chap called Michael Imperio. And he says, when you're going through these difficult times of chaos and trauma, the most important thing is to keep those who are closest to you nearby. And I think it's such a lovely thing. We often, as I said earlier, we try and cope, but in doing so, we push people away. And people are so ready to help, and people love helping, and it actually empowers others because they're such a gift to us. And we're meant for connection. We're born for connection and intimacy. So if you're listening and you're in a situation where you feel as though you want to do it on your own, don't push people away. There's so many people out there that care. And if it's not your family, if it's not friends, immediate friends, the ones you thought would help you, then reach out online. There's amazing support groups online, and connect with people that have been in your situation, because the compassion and love out there is overwhelming. I never imagined there'll be so much love as the love I've experienced in my life.
And I'm hoping that they've changed the legal process. So a mother-in-law with a chip on her shoulder can't do the unspeakable and have children removed. I'm hoping the laws have been changed in the UK. I know it's a different process here in Australia. It's not that easy. it's a complicated issue. So, wow, that's an amazing story. Thank you so much for staying with us today and sharing that and giving hope and light to those who are currently going through trauma. You have definitely made an impact for them. Thank you so much, Sue.
It's a great pleasure to be with you today. Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you so much, Sue. That was great. Guys, we're going to have Rose jump on, and we just want to have a very quick conversation. Hi, Rose. How are you? Sue was great, wasn't she?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I loved her heel technique. It's so easy to remember, and just the strategies that she shared were amazing. It's things that we don't often think about, but yeah, they were amazing strategies.
It is, and I know that our listeners will get so much from this. So you might be watching the recording or you might have watched it live. Either which way, make sure that you're commenting. We always reach out and have a chat back in the comments too. Rose, you've got some exciting news for Tasmania?
Yes, I am in the throes. Well, we are in the throes, but I'm sourcing a men's retreat, maybe later this year or early next year. Yeah, so it will be, I'm just speaking to some people that can help me to organise, what men would like to do, because I have no idea.
I love it. We're so excited because we are
looking forward to this retreat because we know that men are traumatized with domestic violence or family violence or, all sorts of other things. And, sometimes a week away just to sort yourself out and, be amongst like-minded people can be very helpful.
It's so exciting because we got so much feedback from the guys when we were putting posts out about our retreat we just had in May, our Pamper Day, about, oi, what about us? And we're like, it's okay, it's coming, but we decided that it was going to be for ladies by ladies. And so this one's going to be for men by men. So we're looking forward to it moving forward. And we've just had our fantastic Pamper Day. If you didn't know about it, where were you? It was an amazing opportunity for us to create a soft place to land for those who are survivors of family and domestic violence. And it's going to be a few more months before we're ready to announce our new location and what's happening in that space. But in the meantime, if you yourself are a survivor, or if you have a place in your heart and you want to pay it forward and make a difference for those who are survivors, we would ask you to put your hand out and contact Rose through our proper channels. Rose, they send us an email, don't they? And we can then give you the details that you need for our next Pamper Day. So if you provide a service could be chakra aligning, it could be bars, it could be facials, it could be Reiki, it could be hand massage, it could be neck and shoulder massage, it can be
makeup,
skincare, hair care, like anything that you do that's a pampering, hands-on situation. We're looking for additional people in that space. And also people that want talking therapies as well, to supply a pampering situation for people as well. So we'll also have Al-Anon and Family and Women's Services, and a whole range of other people will be with us moving forward into our new occasion. I'm so excited. The date will be in May because May is all for survivors, and that will be, it will be housed and hosted by a group of women who are warriors, women who have survived. They've now thrived, and now we're out the other side paying it forward as a warrior, and we're looking forward to more women to step up in that space as well. I'm so excited. Now, in the meantime, during winter, we've got lots of women doing it rough, and we love to supply Pamper Packages, which are a collection of personal items, goodies for the girls. We put them in beautiful bags and we get them to the front line. We get them so that they end up in their hands at that very moment when they're in need, when they have, well, escaped, really. So if you've got a surplus of anything that is personal care products, please contact us. We're doing a collection. We've got a special place to house them. And then once we've got a collection together, we put them in beautiful bags actually. The bags are really lovely. Personal care bags, makes the girls feel special, and they're delivered to the girls that are in need. So we're looking forward to that as well. Rose, did I miss anything?
Absolutely not. You just did everything. I'm so Proud of you.
Oh, and Rose is like sending me messages. This is what you're going to say, Charlene. So don't think that I do this by myself. Rose tells me what to do. Rose, as always, it's a privilege and pleasure to share this space with you at lunchtime on a Tuesday. It's my favourite time of the week when we get to share with people who have thrived, they have stepped up, they have made a difference, and now they are powerful in their need to make a difference for others. I love this. It's such a joy and a privilege. I do want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors. So Be Live TV, which is the app that we're coming to you on, and My Time TV, who actually sponsor our program. So without those two, we could not be here. As we're a charity and we do it on a shoestring, we are always looking for people to support us and help us move forward with this very important message. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.